Imagine standing in a room with 100 brilliant, ambitious entrepreneurs. They have sleek pitch decks, revolutionary ideas, and enough caffeine in their systems to power a small city. Now, look around. By the time the dust settles a few years from now, 99 of them will be gone. Their websites will be 404 errors, their office furniture sold for pennies on the dollar, and their dreams filed under learning experiences. It sounds harsh, but this is the brutal reality of the startup world. We are obsessed with the survivor stories, the college dropouts who became billionaires, the garage projects that took over the world, but we rarely talk about the graveyard of companies that didn't make it. Today, we are going to walk through that graveyard, not to mourn, but to learn. Because if you can understand why 99% fail, you might just be the 1% that survives. Most people think startups fail because they run out of money. That is technically true, but it is like saying a plane crashed because it hit the ground. It is the immediate cause of death, but it is not the reason for the crash. The real killers are far more subtle and usually happen long before the bank account hits zero. The single biggest reason, the silent killer of nearly half of all failed startups, is building something nobody actually wants. It is the field of dreams fallacy, the idea that if you build it, they will come. Founders fall in love with their solution before they even understand the problem. They spend months, sometimes years, perfecting a product in isolation. They write thousands of lines of code, design beautiful logos, and file patents. Then, they finally launch. They open the doors to the world and wait for the stampede of customers. And what do they hear? Silence, crickets. Because while they were building a better mousetrap, the world had moved on to pest control sprays. They solved a problem that didn't exist or wasn't painful enough for anyone to pay to fix. This leads us to the second fatal error, which is ignoring the data. Bad news is painful. Nobody wants to hear that their baby is ugly. When early customers say the price is too high or the features are confusing, failing founders get defensive. They say the customers just don't get it yet, or that they need to educate the market. But successful founders are detectives, not cheerleaders. They look for the cracks in their own logic. When you ignore negative feedback because it hurts your ego, you are driving blindfolded. You are burning cash on marketing a product that is fundamentally broken. By the time you admit you were wrong, you have no runway left to pivot. You have spent your resources digging a hole instead of building a ladder. Let's talk about the team. You can have the best idea in the world, but if the people driving the bus are fighting over the steering wheel, you are going off a cliff. Co-founder conflict is one of the messiest, most emotional reasons for failure. It usually starts small. Maybe one founder wants to sell the company quickly, while the other wants to build a legacy. Maybe one is working 80-hour weeks while the other is networking at cocktail parties. These resentments build up like pressure in a pipe until the whole thing bursts. But it's not just about fighting. It's about gaps in skill. If you have 3 brilliant engineers but no one who knows how to sell, you don't have a business. You have a science project. If you have 3 great salespeople but no one who can build the product, you have a scam. The magic happens when you have a hacker, a hustler, and a hipster. Someone to build it, someone to sell it, and someone to make it look good. Missing any one of those pillars makes the structure collapse. Then there is the trap of premature scaling. This is the startup equivalent of trying to run a marathon before you can walk. You get a little bit of traction, maybe a small investment, and suddenly you feel rich. You hire a big sales team, you rent the cool office with the exposed brick and the ping pong table, and you start spending money on brand awareness. But you haven't actually nailed your product market fit yet. You are pouring gasoline on a fire that isn't even lit. Your burn rate skyrockets, but your revenue doesn't catch up. You are bleeding cash to acquire customers who leave after a month because the product isn't ready. This is the growth at all costs mentality. And it has killed more promising companies than the recession ever did. We also have to talk about the competition. Founders often say, "We have no competition." If you think you have no competition, you are either lying to yourself or you are in a market so small it's not worth serving. There is always competition, even if it is just the status quo. If you are selling a new productivity software, your competition isn't just other software. It is pen and paper. It is Excel spreadsheets. It is the habit of doing things the old way. Startups fail because they underestimate how hard it is to change human behavior. Your product can't just be 10% better than the old way. It has to be 10 times better to get people to switch. If you are only marginally better, nobody is going to go through the hassle of migrating their data and learning a new system. You will be ignored, and eventually, you will be forgotten. Another massive pitfall is a lack of focus. Startups are exciting. There are always new features to add, new partnerships to pursue, new markets to enter. It is easy to get shiny object syndrome. You start as a food delivery app, but then you decide to also do grocery delivery, and maybe ride sharing. And hey, why not drone logistics? You spread your limited resources so thin that you become mediocre at everything instead of excellent at one thing. The startups that survive are the ones that say no 1,000 times for every yes. They find a tiny niche, a specific group of people with a burning problem, and they serve them better than anyone else on the planet. They dominate a pond before they try to swim in the ocean. Finally, there is the issue of burnout. We glorify the hustle. We celebrate the founders who sleep under their desks and eat ramen for 3 years. But human beings are not machines. You cannot run at redline forever. Burnout leads to bad decisions. It leads to snapping at your team, missing critical details, and losing the passion that got you started in the first place. When the founder gives up, the company dies. Often, the business didn't fail. The leader just ran out of fuel. The 1% who make it aren't just the hardest workers. They are the most resilient. They know how to pace themselves for a marathon, not a sprint. So, is it hopeless? Absolutely not. The 99% fail because they fall into these traps. They build without listening. They scale without validation. They fight with their partners, and they lose focus. If you can invert these mistakes, you have a roadmap to success. Validate your idea before you write a line of code. Obsess over your customers, not your solution. Build a balanced team that you trust with your life. Stay lean and mean until you have proven your model. And most importantly, take care of yourself. The world needs your idea. It needs your innovation. Don't let your startup become just another statistic in the graveyard. Learn from the fallen and build something that lasts. If you have any suggestions, give us in comments sections. If you like this video, subscribe our channel.